Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about cash flow. We've got a rising cost of living happening in our country. I think everyone's really aware of that. And
the rising cost of living. I went to make a pesto the other day. Pine nuts were $40. $40 for pine nuts. I used walnuts.
not as good.
Not as good.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Fair. So Josh is suffering from pesto withdrawal, and that's a real thing though. There's obviously a pinch on the wallet for everyone, and your mortgage is one of the most important costs to look at. And so we just want to kind of talk today a little bit on what can you do, how can you use your mortgage as a financial tool to help deal with cash flow issues. So maybe just touch on some of the things we're doing for clients that are either in a mortgage or coming up for renewal, and how we're helping to deal with that.
The first thing that I take a look at when chatting with clients is number one, let's look at the outside debts, right? We've seen some pretty significant appreciation throughout the country through the last couple of years. I know some markets are down a bit now, but still, if you look year over year for the last 5, we've got some significant value increase. So what I like to do is look at the outside debts. Is there an opportunity here to maybe take some of that money out of the home, pay some of those car loans, big lines of credit, big credit cards, knock those payments off the balance sheet, and then just bring it down into one lower monthly mortgage payment?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point, Josh, because if you look at kind of a mortgage coming up for renewal, a borrower might suddenly be like, oh my gosh, my payment's going up drastically on my mortgage, but everything's going up. So if we can put together a plan to get everything in a more comfortable spot, it's just adding breathing room, adding flexibility. So I love that you're talking that. The other thing we're looking at is just reamortization.
Yep.
This is just to give you options more than anything. So let's say you've been in a mortgage, you paid it off for 5 years, you've got 20 years left. Maybe what we look at doing is re-amming that out to 25 or 30 years. Mm-hmm. Not that we want you on the never ever plan, but it just gives you options.
Yeah, and essentially it's like doing a refinance without taking any additional funds. And like Joe said, we don't want you on the never ever plan where you're never going to pay this mortgage off. But if you re-extend, let's say, to 30 years, and then you make sure you're comfortable, life is good, you can start prepaying that mortgage down faster. The vast majority of mortgages, I'd risk to say 99% of them in Canada, you are allowed to prepay the mortgage, which means you can add additional funds onto your regular scheduled payment to pay that mortgage off faster. So in essence, by doing that, you could take that 30 years and cut it down significantly and pay it off much faster as you feel comfortable. So not a forced monthly payment, but whenever you have some extra funds and some breathing room, you can make those payments and lump it down quicker. And certainly when you get to renewal next time, you can look to decrease that amortization, if you'd like at that time.
It's a tough word. I mean, you're a mortgage broker, I've been to bed. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. The thing I would say too is that what we're looking at right now is just creating flexibility. Mm-hmm. Cash is king, cash flow is king. We want to make sure that anyone that is in a position where they're feeling that pinch, and most people are to a certain degree, that we can give you a solution to help that. And so it's not, we can't change where interest rates are, but we can manipulate your overall financial setup to make sure that you're well suited to kind of take on this inflationary storm that we're in, and maybe even buy pine nuts.
Dare to dream, Joe.
Yeah,
dare to dream. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this. If you have any questions, we'd certainly love the opportunity to help you out. Yeah, you just ask about my pesto.
Yeah. What?
Just ask about, tell them about your pesto. Pine nuts are $40.
Yeah. Josh, I hear you had a little nice date with your wife and you were going to make a pesto. How did that go?